Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Trish Henry, Director of Custom Events and Partnerships for OSP. Welcome to OSP EXPO and OSP TV. I'm very happy to be joined today by Fraser Pajak. Fraser is the CEO of QuEST Forum. QuEST Forum is the global association dedicated to quality and performance improvement across the ICT industry. And I had to read that just to make sure I got it correct. So welcome, Fraser.
Thank you, Trish.
So glad
it's an honor
have
to be here.
Wonderful. This is my second year getting to speak with Fraser, so I'm very happy about that. Happy to hear the changes, things that have happened. So tell me, with mobile video bandwidth escalating, tower construction has just exploded, increased. However, since 2003, tower climbing is one of the most dangerous professions in America. How is QuEST Forum responding to that? You recently embarked on an initiative to help the tower industry improve. Tell me a little bit about that.
Thank you, Trish. First, I want to say what an honor it is to be here and part of your event. And QuEST Forum really appreciates our friendship and partnership with OSP Magazine. And I think we share a lot of the common goals about improving quality in the industry. I will tell you how this happened, if you don't mind.
Please.
We started looking at, like you said, the explosion of towers. And Cisco predicts that next year there'll be 4.4 exabytes of mobile video traffic on the network per month. And to put that in perspective, that if you took every recorded word since the beginning of time, it would take 4 exabytes. So we're transmitting that much per month. 16 exabytes in 4 short years. And we know that these predictions are usually a bit conservative, if anything.
Right.
So where does QuEST Forum fit in? Well, we started looking at the tower build, knowing that it's going extremely quickly with really 2 main drivers.
Okay.
The cost and the date. How much and when do we get it in terms of the building of the infrastructure. We also know that quality of the infrastructure becomes more and more important as we start to drive that kind of volume and traffic through it. And as we looked at that, we just couldn't turn away from the fact that safety of the workers who are doing this massive build is a quality issue as well. Exactly. Quality and safety are really interlinked. And as we looked at what's going on in the industry, we found like great organizations like NATE are very similar in their goals to us, very similar in their approach to us, and have similar goals. But there are things we can do to help each other. So for instance, what QuEST Forum's really good at is collaboration. We have a history of taking competitors and getting them to sit around the table, leave their competitive labels at the door, and collaborate to make the industry better and to measure the results. That's what QuEST Forum is really good at, the benchmarking of the results. And so as we sat down looking at the issues around safety, and Nate's been very effective at working these for years, but we thought, wait, if we team up with Nate and other similar organizations around the globe, we are global. We have all the players at the table we need to collaborate around this issue. Nate has a lot of the standards already developed. If we work together, we can bring some of the value we bring around accreditation, certification to a standard, say, developed by Nate, and then actually certify organizations, and potentially something new for us would be to certify individuals. And the goal, Trish, around this would really be that more people go home to their families at night than would have otherwise. And so, I mean, if Pat Sepo, chair of Nate, was here, she would tell you that it can be dangerous. It doesn't have to be. If the focus on safety is there, it doesn't have to be so dangerous.
That's completely key.
And what we've found with quality issues over the years is when we focus on them, it improves. Like it's measured, gets done. So we believe we can have a real impact partnering with Nate and others.
That's fantastic. And Nate has been a partner of OSP for years. So we're very excited to see you work with them and just the impact that you can have on the industry and the individual is phenomenal.
There's too much at stake for us not to work together.
Exactly. Now, gigabit communities are all the rage now. We just heard another interview talking about gigabit communities. What is QuEST Forum doing to maintain quality as that happens so quickly, as it explodes?
As we look at the way our services are changing, I hate to say this because my whole career has been in telecommunications, but telecommunications is nowhere near as emotional a service as entertainment is. If you take a look at the iPhone when it came in, it actually was future telling. It was saying the industry needs to change from communications to entertainment. And that people value entertainment and communications will be a service riding on the top. So having said that, we need gigabit to the home. It absolutely has to happen. So at the same time as people are getting more and more dependent on the services we provide, Tim Harden says the network has become like oxygen. As they get more and more woven into their daily lives in the Internet of Things or the Internet of Everything, gigabit is essential to making that happen.
Okay.
So what's the role for QuEST Forum? Well, I would argue that the reason our services are the quality they are today is no accident. It's taken tremendous focus in the industry. QuEST Forum's been part of that journey to bring quality to an extremely high standard.
Right.
Now, the only constant in this industry is change, and the pace of change is going up dramatically. So QuEST Forum really needs to step in front of these technologies as they come and bring our quality legacy with us and make sure those hard-fought lessons we all work together, everybody on this floor has worked together to bring to the industry, are not forgotten, or worse yet, relearned in a very expensive way as we do gigabit.
Exactly. Well, and that's why we look to QuEST Forum to lead the way on those initiatives.
And we have initiatives like Modern Networks where we're saying, where is the industry going? And by the way, a lot of these quality principles apply.
Right.
In fact, if you were to look at our main product, TL9000 standard, there's already many measures in there that apply hand to glove with gigabit. So we don't necessarily need to reinvent the wheel either. So a lot of what we do is bring what we've already developed and already learned to growing industries.
Right, right. You have had previous tenure as VP of Network Assurance for TELUS. A lot of experience here. You managed a team of 1,200 people and were responsible for all the networks in Canada, wireline and wireless, as well as incident management and resolution. That's a mouthful. What is different today in that area than it was when you were there?
So Trish, next time you introduced me, the short form of my job description was to blame. Okay, so
I love
if it was broken anywhere in Canada, I just said yes.
Fraser was the man.
I'll try and fix it.
Okay.
So how is that role changing? Well, as I alluded to, the services themselves have changed. You know, 10 or 15 years ago, the most important thing in managing a network was, drop calls, and that's just not even on the radar today. You take a look at companies like TELUS, and they're very typical.
Right.
The focus is on the growth services, and that's mobile broadband and mobile services, IPTV and entertainment services, which has re-sparked interest in high-speed internet to the home. I mean, there was a time when that market was largely saturated, and IPTV has just woken it up again.
Right.
So it's really all about customer experience. And the customer expectations are dramatically different.
Okay.
A video expectation is that you better fix it in 90 seconds or I'm phoning you, whereas with a wireline service, you could be out for a considerable amount of time before you get a call. So how has that changed network operating environments? They have to be extremely responsive and even predictive to customer experience. I know that TELUS and many others, and you'll see technologies on the floor, are looking at video probes and how do we get better intelligence to understand the quality of the service before you get the phone call.
Okay, all right, I get that.
So it's really about prediction, and it's really about working closely with your field forces.
Okay, all right. What can be done to remedy troubles across the network? How can field teams help? Where do we go with that?
That's a great question. I actually believe that the field team role starts at installation. Like, it's not so much an issue of remedying troubles quickly, which we all want to do.
Sure.
It's really about the quality of the installation right from the start. It's going to set the stage for the customer experience.
Right.
You know, a lot of these services, like an IPTV service, if you're providing the set-top boxes, the cost of acquisition could be $1,000 per customer. And so you really need to get it right the first time. And we're seeing a lot of focus in field about getting it right the first time.
Sure.
Another area that field can really help is in communication during the event, because they are really the ones that are right in front of the customer.
Right, right.
Affecting that.
Well, reducing truck rolls, getting it right the first time, I think that's an industry issue, but that's where QuEST Forum, again, leads the way. So we appreciate that. How has the role of the field technician changed since you've been in the business?
I would say dramatically. Gone are the days of tip-ring water pipe. If you take a look at the field technician of today, they're very, very multifaceted. They got to understand technology. In fact, you could say that the central office of yesterday has extended not only out into the communities, but into living rooms. If you take a look at an IPTV set-top box, you now have an intelligent network node in people's homes.
Right.
Gone are the days of the field technician, standing at the D-mark on the side of the house saying, it's fine to hear. They're now in the homes.
Right.
They're now diagnosing each run.
Right.
They're now showing a customer how to use features. In fact, in a lot of companies, they're now sales.
Right.
They're doing upselling right in the home. And they've developed this relationship of trust. If you take a look at the customer surveys, typically the field techs are one of the most trusted people in our industry.
I believe it.
Another practice I think that's really changed their lives, a lot of companies now are having them give you a business card. And I mean, I bet you a lot of people out there in the shop floor have the experience of a field technician coming into their home,
right,
helping them establish their service, maybe even diagnosing some of their own problems with computer networking or settings, and then leaving them with a card saying, I'm here for you if you need me. And being able to call that individual when you're 3 blocks away and you have another question. So their role has changed dramatically. They're much more multifaceted, and they are the face of your company.
I was just going to say, they're the ambassador of the company. I actually just had that happen to me. I had a service call, technician left his name, his email, anytime. And for me, that customer experience kept me with the company. So
and they're often carrying some pretty sophisticated test gear to actually tell what's going on as well. So.
Exactly. QuEST Forum works closely with providers of all sizes, all priorities. What challenges do you see them facing in 2015?
Well, it's...
In 20 words or less.
I'll give you 3 from our chief of staff. Don Irvine always says, it's better, faster, cheaper. And that is a ubiquitous problem we're all dealing with. How do we scale dramatically to meet this hockey stick growth? That's a Canadian analogy, by the way.
Got it.
How do we scale to meet this hockey stick growth and do it in a way of quality that meets the expectations of everyone? And so all companies, large and small, I've done a lot of work in the last year with some of our smaller service providers in North America, and they are some of the most innovative companies out there. Like, they're out there trying all kinds of new technologies, pioneering new services. They have a real go-for-it attitude, and that's absolutely essential, because if you look at the demographics, more than 2/3 of the people under 30 don't want a landline. So we literally have to reinvent ourselves.
Right.
And we have to really get in front of that technology and meet that bandwidth demand. And another, I think is a big concern is doing it ubiquitously across the country.
Okay.
There's a real danger, in my opinion, of having 2 classes of citizen, the connected and the unconnected. And as we get to be more of a connected society, everyone needs to have a very strong, high bandwidth connection to be part of it.
I agree with you. I agree. That divide could be potentially very dangerous.
It's dangerous.
So I agree. Staying relevant is the big term in the industry right now. How do you remain professionally relevant? How do you personally remain relevant?
That's not a new challenge, Trish.
Okay.
In my entire career, that's always been something I'm very concerned about. The industry, the only thing I think has changed is the pace of change.
Okay.
It just is increasing every year. But the fact is, this is a problem that all leaders in the industry deal with on a constant basis. I have to say, one of the ways to do that is to walk this shop floor. I would call what OSP EXPO does here as a supermarket of technology. Like, you can actually come to this event and walk this floor, and where else could you do that? Where else could you walk from supplier to supplier, compare technologies, get the latest, ask your questions? I can't underscore the service you're doing to the industry by doing this. It's
Thank you.
I know that when I was in technology decision roles, something like this would short circuit months of analysis. So this is a good way. Another good way is to go to events like we put on with our best practice conferences, like your keynotes here. There's some real leadership in the industry that's being shared, and if you want to get a concentrated delivery of what's going on in the industry, a lot of these events are well worth the tuition value and the effort of your time to come. It takes you out of the tyranny of the urgent and that ever-filling inbox for a couple of days or so, and really feeds the machine with technology.
Agreed.
I enjoy reading your magazine and other publications. I also subscribe to a number of online ones that are talking about what's going on in the industry. You can get those quick sound bites every day.
Right.
But it's going to be a struggle. I have, with this job, one of the things I do is I speak all over the world, and recently I was asked to do a presentation on disruptive technology.
Okay.
And that was maybe 40 hours research for 1 hour delivery, and that really helped me.
Yeah.
Because it forced me to really take a look at a lot where the industry trends are going.
That's great.
But it takes work.
It's
not easy.
It does, and travel, and staying on top of things. One final question. We're getting ready for our January 2015 OSP Magazine issue. Any predictions for next year? Anything you want to share, either related to QuEST Forum or the industry? Anything you've seen on the show floor?
Well, I think there's a lot of talk about network functions virtualization and software-defined networks, and I think there might be a bit of a belief out there that that's still on the drawing boards. And I would like to say that that is something that in my prediction is going to happen faster than we thought.
Okay.
And I think it's absolutely essential for us to embrace that disruption, if you will, of technology and accelerate it if possible.
Okay.
It's one of the keys to the solution of scaling to meet this incredible demand.
Right, right.
And the other thing I want to leave you with is don't take your eye off quality. Everybody's counting on us to an immense degree. And the reason we're not front and center is because we've done such a good job. That's my belief on it anyway. It's not being talked about, but if we don't keep an eye on it, we have the potential for a crisis in confidence unlike we've ever seen. So
I agree.
I think we just really need to make sure that as we go forward, we go quickly, but we do it with quality first.
Right. As you said, we don't want to relearn the lessons we've already learned. So thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Trish Henry at OSP EXPO. I want to thank Fraser Pajak with QuEST Forum, and we'll talk to you soon.